Let's welcome our host, Erica Wilson.
Great day, everyone. We're here live today with your girl, Erica Wilson, that it had to happen for our Motivational Mondays. Let me tell you, oh my God, I am so honored and excited to have this guest on tonight. I know I say that quite often, but this is someone who's like a son to me. We haven't really seen each other in over, I think, 10 years or so. But I'm just so excited to have him here tonight. And the topic is fashion is my passion, but saving lives is my purpose. He is a registered nurse, guys. But let me tell you something. He's one of the flyest registered nurses I ever seen. I mean, his swag speaks for itself. As you can see, if you saw the promotional video, you saw some of his swag. I wish I had the pictures put up, but I don't. So without further ado, let me introduce to some and present to others the Desmond Tice. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I am awesome. I'm so excited to have you here on tonight. Oh my God, when I saw you on Snapchat, I knew that I had to invite you to be a guest on the show, Desmond.
Yeah, I was gonna do it. You didn't even have to ask me. You didn't have to ask me twice. You already know.
Oh
It didn't
my
matter
God.
what it was. And I'm not even a person that like gets on camera and talk a lot. But when you ask me, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it.
Oh my God. So I'm honored. I'm so honored. Oh my gosh. So if you can, just tell the audience a little bit about who is Desmond Tice.
All right. So Desmond is from Miami. I am 33 years old. Currently, I'm a registered nurse right now. I wouldn't say I chose it. I would say it chose me. I also come from a family of nurses, my mom as well as my younger brother now. So yeah, that's pretty much Desmond, reserved guy. Into fashion, like it. Love nursing as well. Couldn't see myself doing anything else. So that's a good bit about me.
Wow, Desmond, I didn't know you come from a family of nurses.
Yeah, my mom's a nurse. My sister's a nurse. My sister-in-law is a nurse. My younger brother just became a nurse, and then now his girlfriend is about to become a nurse.
Oh my God. So I tell you what, I mean, it's first of all, thank you. Thank you for being on the front line because I know that it can be a very, very stressful job. That I do know.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I want to say salute to you for even doing that, even your parents and your loved ones who's doing that as well. Because a couple of years ago, we was just faced with the biggest pandemic ever, or our biggest scare
Right.
ever with COVID, and you guys stood in the paint. So, salute to you.
It was different. I didn't realize it until I think I was watching a TV show and a COVID scenario played out in the hospital. And then that's when I realized how serious it was because me working in it, I didn't realize how serious it was. I was just thinking, okay, I'm going to work. I'm going to mask up. I'm going to put on all my protective gear. And it is what it is. I'm just at work. Like, and I'm not thinking like, oh, okay, yeah, I know it's a possibility that I could have gotten COVID, but I
Mhm.
wasn't thinking that. Especially when you see all the stories and you see on the news, it's like it's this age range that's being attacked, but then when you're in the hospital, it's all age ranges.
Mm.
So yeah, I didn't realize it until I saw that show play back, and I'm like, wow, I was really working in that.
Wait a minute. So they had a show on COVID before COVID came out, or after?
So after, or actually kind of like during the time, but after COVID happened, there was a show. I forgot the name of the show, but it was like a medical show, scripted,
Wow.
but they had a scene where they reenacted the whole COVID moment. And
Oh,
that's when it hit me that wow, I was working in that. Like that's a part of history. Like so,
I tell you, I just don't know. One
it's
of the young ladies who was a part of my organization, she's a nurse, and she's a single mother at that. And she has two small kids at home. And I used to feel so bad because she was overworked and underpaid, right?
yeah.
And I just had to say, honor her one day and just let her know that, what you're doing, one is brave, because you have two little kids that you have to go home to every day. And then two, to just let you know how, you're doing such an amazing job. And all of that in the middle of losing her mother.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So you know, you say you're inside of this hospital and you see that no, it's just not these age ranges that they're talking about. It's hitting basically any and everybody.
Yeah, and it was scary because one moment you're talking to a family and you're like, hey, the patient is okay, they're stable. Then the next moment, within an hour, you have to call and give bad news.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, so it was shocking to me because especially because I was working on basically a med surge telemetry floor where it wasn't as critical, and then I transitioned into critical care. So when I transitioned into critical care, you saw more so of those lives just taken. I mean, some days it was one after another.
Hmm. Oh, Jesus. Let me tell you something. I don't know if that's, first of all, I'm just going to tell you this, then. I can't even stand the sight of blood. That, you know, God definitely didn't bless me with that gift. So that's up to you for that. But my God, I mean, just within a, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, people, some people didn't even think that it was real, right? But we know for sure that
Yeah,
it definitely was real.
it
You
was
know,
real.
I still wear my mask to this day. I don't play.
Some places I go, I'll wear it. Like on the plane and things. They've
Mhm.
kind of slowed down, and now that I'm in California, which California was one of the heavier places with COVID, so they just uplifted the ban where you don't have to wear a mask to work. Like literally, probably about 3 weeks ago.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and even before going there, because I had the COVID shot and the booster, but I had the 2 rounds, and then I had to get the booster on top of that in order to work in California.
Well, your girl don't have the booster, the shot. I wasn't going out there. So I'm sorry. By the grace of God, I just could not find myself to. And the funny part about it is I thought about it, right? And I
Um,
booked the appointment, but something would not let me get to that appointment. So I,
no,
okay, God, I hear you. You know, I hear you. So I didn't do it. And knock on wood, I did have COVID, but however, very mild. Very, very mild.
yeah, it's strange. It's very
Yeah.
strange. I traveled during COVID. And when I was traveling during COVID, I probably shouldn't have been traveling, but I was traveling and I never developed COVID. Now when that second strand came out and everyone was just catching like a cold, that's when I caught it.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did you have it mild case? How was
I,
it?
have- I had a mild case. Yeah. I One day I woke up and I had like a really bad headache and some body aches. I didn't know. I'm like, what is going on? But I'm like, okay, well, let me just take some medicine and go to sleep. I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I was fine. But I didn't realize um, before they deemed it COVID,
Uh-huh.
I had lost my smell, and this was before we even knew what it was. And like the cologne that I wear, like it lingers, so I could spray it on something and hang it up for 2 weeks, and I take it back, and it smell like I just put it on. So I'm just spraying, I'm just spraying. So I'm like, these people got me this time. They didn't give me the right cologne. Making fun of you. So I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, hey, like you smell my cologne, and she's just like, yeah, it's too much. So I think I probably had it before, but I didn't have any symptoms. I
Mhm.
didn't have any coughing. I didn't have any weakness. My taste buds didn't change.
Right.
It was different symptoms for so many people. It was
Right.
stomach aches. It was headaches. It was some people lost their memory.
Wait,
Yeah,
now see that part I didn't hear.
yeah. I had a couple patients. They would their families would call and check on them and ask them how they're doing, and I'm like, we had to restrain them because they don't know where they are. They don't know who they are. They're being combative. They can't tell you their name, date of birth. They can't tell you what the year is. And they're like hysterically crying on the phone saying, well, what happened? Because he was just driving yesterday or he was just himself yesterday. Like no history of dementia or Alzheimer's, nothing. They just, memory was gone. And it was nothing that we could do until they either come back slowly
Uh-huh.
or it was just, there was no memory. They're gone.
Oh my goodness. Wow. See that part, you know, I don't think we heard. I don't know if anybody else did. If anybody else did that's under the sound of our voice, please do put in the comment because I didn't hear it. I didn't hear that part. I have a cousin, she had COVID and she was just telling us that her smell haven't come back yet. You know,
Hmm.
she had a really bad case of it, but wasn't hospitalized. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
However, but she said she felt like she wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah. It's bad. It was bad. It was bad.
Whew, let me tell you, when Alan had it, your brother had it, I was like, oh my
And
God.
I already know with Alan, I already know with the asthma, and we already know we've been through that growing up.
Oh my God. But you know what, Des? The best part about it is it don't really bother him anymore.
Good.
It
My
really
younger
don't
brother's
bother.
that way
He
too.
haven't had that. Inky, on the other hand, because he was a premature baby, so
Uh-huh.
his kind of linger. But Alan's asthma, he's doing well with it.
Yeah, that's how my
Doing
little brother and I are. Like we don't really deal with it like that now.
Oh, you're right. And see, that's the thing. Track because of track.
Uh-huh.
I remember the pulmonologist telling me to put them both in track. So that's how I was really big on them being in track because it helped builds up the lungs. So it don't really bother Inky back. And we're here in Atlanta now.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, with the pollen and everything here. But again, I cannot say thank you enough for serving. I think you're one of the flyest nurses ever. Okay. And as I'm going through your social media, Des, I'm like, listen, how do he put these things together?
That's a question that's always asked. My younger brother always asks me that, but I just see it. I see it visually in my head. I automatically know, like with the colors, with the fit. I see it first in my head, and then once I do that, then I kind of go in the stores and I'll execute if I can find it. Sometimes it don't always come out how I saw it in my head, but for the most part, if I have that together first, then everything else can come into play. And then I like to keep it like on a artist type vibe when I'm taking pictures. I don't like the clear cut, like in your face, like pretty pictures, candid. Like I like to be randomly, like just how someone take pictures, and then I'll create it to how I want to create it.
God, let me tell you something. You do a phenomenal job. And that green, that yellow, I think it was a jacket.
Oh yeah, that was at the it's like a cardigan at the concert, which was
Listen,
amazing. I'll tell anyone to go experience it if they can. It was
which
amazing.
concert?
It was Beyonce's actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Wait a
one of
minute. I don't have no Beyonce money, so I tell
one of
I,
my friends, she was going for her birthday, and she was like, "Hey, I know it's last minute. I'm inviting people." So I was like, "Cool." I'm like, "Well, I've never been to Paris, so I was like, I might as well go there and then go for the concert too." So it was pretty good.
oh my God. So tell us what Paris was like, and I'm gonna go back to your swag.
Okay, Paris is very reminiscent of New York in a sense. Um, it's very busy. It's very different from the United States. I didn't know like going, I would have to buy a totally different adapter for charging because our electrical volts are different from theirs over there. Um, the language it's a couple people like people who speak the English language. They're not necessarily, I won't say happy to speak it, but they don't try to speak it. Like I'll give you an example. Us being in the Uber, it's 7 of us, and only 6 people can come into the Uber based off of insurance purposes. And they'll say like they don't speak the language, and then the moment you say like, "Hey, like we'll go ahead and tip you," for the ride, then they start to speak the English. So then at that point, we're like, "Okay, no, we're just gonna another Uber because we're gonna tip you anyway. It's not about the money, but we just wanted to make sure we all get where we were going safely." The food, when I first got to Paris, I had friends tell me like the food isn't like that good. You're gonna be hungry while you're there, but we found some pretty good restaurants. So overall, I would give Paris an 8 out of 10. Very hot, very busy.
What? I never imagined Paris being similar to New York.
Yeah, yeah. With the walking that they do, the
Is it
transportation,
fast?
the buses. Yeah,
It's fast paced too?
it's fast paced. Yeah, it's fast paced. And then
Mm.
everyone, I would see everyone, men and women, like also walking with bags. I'm like, oh, that must be common over here. But they walk with the bags because it's so much pickpocketing that goes on. So that's something that they tell you once you get there, like, be careful of the pickpocketers. So everyone walk with bags or like crossbodies that's in front of them.
Right. You know what? I could see that in New York too, because when I went to New York, I mean, it's just if you stop, and that's what I did. Is in the middle, we were walking. I can't remember where we were going, but I stopped to like check my phone, and they literally ran me over. And they like, we know she's not from here. And when I heard
Oh
them say,
yeah,
that, I was like, oh
yeah.
wow.
You can't stop in there. You have to keep going. You have to keep going. You can't stop. And that's why they always like. And I never understood when people would be like in New York, like we don't say good morning. And I'm like, what? I'm like, y'all rude. I always feel like New Yorkers are rude, but they're like, no, it's just so busy and everybody's trying to get where they're going. It's not really a good morning type of thing. Like you just passing and passing.
That's it. You know,
Not
and it was so funny when I was there. Even the buses, they don't stop for you. You know,
it's,
and the people just walk right in front of the bus, like, okay, you better stop.
it's the same way in Paris. The
What?
same way. And they don't have street lanes. Like some places you go in Paris, they don't have street lanes how we have here in America. So you have the buses, you have the cars, you have the people on the scooters, you have the people on bikes.
Mm-mm.
Chaos.
Yeah, yeah.
Chaos. And everyone is always like, so will you ever take a job in New York? I'm like, I can't live in New York. I'm
Don't
too,
tell me my question.
yeah, no, I can't live in New York. I'm too used to being able to get in my car and park freely or pay $20 to park, not $300 to $500 to park. Might not have a parking spot. Then when it's cold, I might have to take the bus or the train. I'll
Yeah.
never make it work. I'll never make it.
Not only that, even the trains, getting on the trains, you better watch out.
Yeah, even if you're doing it late night or like it's still,
Yeah.
I'm like, nah. I need somewhere where I could actually get in my car, be able to drive, and go back
Yeah.
and forth.
Let me tell you, and the streets are so small in
Yeah,
New York.
Paris is like that too.
Yeah, Alan girlfriend, she loves it. You know, she said that she loved living in New York, but and she used to have to take what is it, the subway to work. She's worked for Delta Airlines, and the thing is, you think about that, her walking that long way in the snow. You have to love your job. I mean, you just have to love it. You know, but in Paris, you said that you had to even buy a different charging port.
Yes, so we have to buy an adapter to plug our charges up to that.
You
And
know what?
I know.
Yes. Oh my God. So, and then you know how much is that, right?
Yeah, no, see, but I didn't know all of that came into play with it because I also when I packed, I had like the vacuum bag where you suction it down, and I
Oh,
plugged that into the wall to go ahead and do that as I was leaving Paris, and it burned. Yeah, it blew it.
what? See, I got my adapter. Well, I wasn't in Paris, but I was in London. But
Yeah, yep.
I had to get my charger over there because we're not going to even talk about London bad driving over there. But Paris is somewhere we were supposed to actually take the train over to Paris, but you know, with so much going on, that's when Alan was playing with the Jags, and you know,
Yeah.
they had so much going on in
Oh,
London. We
so
didn't
much.
go over. Yeah. So, but I had a great time though. I had an amazing
Oh,
time.
I'm sure. I'm
So
sure.
Inky not too long ago not too long ago, maybe about a year ago, he went over to Paris and he had a good time. But just to see you over there and you experienced the Beyonce concert.
Yeah, it was
Oh
cool. It was fun. I always tell people, I'm like, it was an experience. I didn't even feel like I was there for 3 hours because I'm like, I don't know how it's gonna go for 3 hours.
3 hour concert?
Yeah, it didn't even feel like it. It didn't even feel like it. It feels like you were in a totally different universe. The
What?
videos online does it no justice. So I was telling everybody, I'm like, listen, if you can go and see it, I would say go and see it. It's almost like her being the Michael Jackson of this time. So for
Wow.
us that couldn't get to see Michael,
Hmm.
like if you can get a chance to go see Beyonce in that concert, I'd say go. It doesn't matter where you sit. It felt like one big party.
Wow. And I did see one of the videos that you put up, and the young lady who got up, she was a little thick, and
Uh-huh.
she did her
Oh, yeah, she's
thing.
one of the standouts. She's one of the standouts. She's actually one of my favorites from out of Beyonce's dancers that I saw. Like she's a standout. She's a very confident woman.
Love
Um,
it.
she's very confident with her body. She's very confident with her shortcut. And I always say women that can rock like almost like a low fade,
Mm-hmm.
very confident women.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
we have men like some of us who won't even be like, nah, we're not doing the bald head. Or if we had hair too long,
Yeah.
you already know how Alan and I were. We like, nah, we're not cutting our hair.
Uh-huh. Let me tell you something. When he sent me a picture when he was at the University of Miami when he finally cut off the dreads, right? I couldn't do nothing but I let go of the steering wheel and I just screamed. Like, oh my God, you did it. But it looked really nice. But however, what you said is so true. And I love to see confident women, you
Me too.
know, and they better not sleep on us thick girls, okay? They listen, when I say I saw that video and I was like, yes, yes, and yes. And then when she did that split,
Yeah, she's one of the standouts. She's one of the
oh,
standouts. And I always say that I love confident women. That's why I always, even like my friends are always joking, like, you're always in the blogs going back and forth. I'm like, I'm not going back and forth with anyone. I just don't like to see women tear other women down. And I'm like, I always notice that it's always the women that initially tears the woman down first.
Right.
And I'm like, you don't see like, and another thing that gets me, I'm always like, it's always like black women against black women. I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. Like, everybody can just live happily. Like, it's okay. I'm like, you don't see Kim Kardashian fans tearing each other down. You don't see like, so I'm like, no, it's just like, so I always feel the need. I have to step in and be like the peacemaker in that situation. Like, 'cause I
I'll
don't
tell
know.
you, let me tell you something. I done learned a long time ago, like leave it alone because you're never gonna people think what they think, and that's just it. I know you want to speak up for the thick women. I'm one. However, you know, I get what you're saying as far as with black women. But you notice something, Des? I notice in the men as well. The men are starting getting worse than the women.
Oh yeah,
When I hear them, but they won't see. Sometimes the woman can be real bold with hers. You know what I mean? The guys, they do the sneak dissing now, you
of course.
know, and it's almost as like why, like you say, we'll be a much better. But we don't have to put people down. You know, just because someone is not doing what we think they should do or look how we think they should, you know, because hey, long as you know who you are and who you belong to,
That's all that
that's all that matter. And that woman, she's not worried about them. She's getting paid.
she,
She go
she's
to
a.
watch our business. You know,
I
she's
was
doing
waiting
her
to see her.
thing.
She's amazing. Like, I mean, you can just feel the confidence. Honestly, like
Wow.
it
I saw
really
it.
it
Yeah.
radiates through the stadium. Like,
Wow.
she's great. I don't know her name or anything, but she's great.
Oh my gosh, she did her thing. Let me tell you, that girl dropped to that floor, y'all.
Yeah,
Oh, like God. And that she didn't have on no little heels now. She had on some really nice size heels,
you
but
know,
she
you're up there
did.
with Beyonce. You have to come with it, and she came.
Oh, and she came.
That was also the first show where she brought her daughter out.
Really?
That was the first show she brought her daughter out, so it was pretty cool.
Wow. So let me tell you something, guys. In this day and time, you just have to be start experiencing things. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to exist, right? I want to live this thing we call life. And like I said, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have said I don't have Beyonce money because I don't know what God may do, how he may bless me. But I know right now I will say.
Yeah,
You know, as an experience, I never even thought about going to see Beyonce, honestly. But my nieces, they love her. Oh my gosh, they really, really love her. And I see some of the things that she's doing. And you said she brought her daughter out.
yeah,
This young lady, she gave her a chance because you know sometimes the thick women is overlooked.
of course.
You know, so it's not like she's just set it out. Okay, well, this is how you have to be. Like, let me take you back a little bit during the time, you know, when you go and audition for to be a cheerleader or whatever, you have to
Uh-huh.
be a certain size. You even, I don't mean to be so blunt, y'all, but even a certain boob size.
Got it.
Okay. And a lot of women get overlooked because of that.
Hmm.
So when you can have someone that, you know, all sizes matter, all colors matters, you know. And to see again, I can't say enough about that video that you blessed my soul, let me tell you, when I saw that. But just the experience that you went over to Paris, you had this great time with your friends for her birthday, and a 3 hour concert, I couldn't even imagine, but a 3 hour concert, you
Yeah.
said didn't even feel like it. But just
I
tell
was
us
standing
what.
up. I was on the floor, and we were standing the whole time.
No, 3 hours.
3 hours.
Tell
3 hours.
me what it was like pulling up to the event.
Oh, it was crazy. It was chaotic. People were there in line. The concert started at 9 p.m. We were getting phone calls that people were already in line at 8:30 in the morning to get inside the concert. And to get like close to the stage if we were sitting on the floor. We knew we weren't going out there at 8:30. We actually got there maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours before. But it was Beyonce did a pretty good job with making sure everything ran smoothly. And even being on the floor, I thought that this was going to be wild and chaotic, like a festival. But everyone was civilized, and I think she did that too. She managed it by not having alcohol at the venue, so it was only like beer and water. Um, it honestly just felt like you were in a movie the whole time. It didn't feel like you were on Earth at all. It felt like you were somewhere else. I don't even know, like somewhere out of space. It didn't feel like it at all. So it went by pretty fast.
Oh my gosh, she must be really dear. And did she start on time?
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
started
But
on time.
people, what time did the concert start?
9 p.m.
No way. And people was what in line at 8:30 that morning?
morning. Yeah, overseas they take those celebrities. They take them like really serious. They're fans. They're out there. They have tents. They chase the vehicles. They're fans.
So that's be real life stuff that we be seeing on TV there, right?
1,000 people there, and probably a good, I want to say maybe a good 60,000 people are those that probably don't even speak English, but they came to show support and behind Beyonce and sing the songs word from word.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
So,
So 3 hour concert, you're over in Paris, you're with your friend for her birthday. Excuse me. Tell me, how did the night end? As far as was it after parties? Because I'm sure that they
yeah.
had parties. Oh, he said, yeah.
So when you come out of the venue, they were having a whole block party, a whole Beyonce block party.
What?
Yeah, and then after that, they had a couple other events that was there. A couple people from her team had some parties. Partying in Paris goes until 6 o'clock in the morning, and I
Ooh,
didn't think that. I didn't think that out because most places you go that's not Miami, they close at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Jacksonville.
Yeah, especially Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't stay open. Paris stays open.
Oh my
Like,
God.
it's literally almost like the States in a sense. The only thing is that they speak a different language and a lot of things, and the food, of course, and it's different. But the clubs, they play nothing honestly but American music and Afro beats.
Wow.
I
So
wasn't expecting that.
that is so amazing, Des. Oh my gosh. So, guys, we're here live tonight with the girl Erica Wilson that it had to happen for our Motivation Mondays. And tonight's topic is fashion is my passion, saving lives is my purpose. And I have the honor of having, he's like a son. I'm going to say my son, my godson. Okay.
Definitely.
Listen, just to see the things that he's doing, my heart is really smiling. So it's bursting with joy. Just to know that, because some of you guys, I haven't seen you all in like forever. And I think the actual last time is when I threw that party.
It was at your house. I don't know, was it after
Allen's.
prom or was it? I think I
It
had
was
just come
after
from,
prom. It was
yeah,
after
I think I
prom
had
because
just come from home, prom or homecoming.
no, it was prom because baby, you bought it. Let me tell you, I remember what you had on and everything. That black with your hair up in the
Oh,
most.
so that was homecoming. That's when I went to MacArthur. I had left
It was
Northwestern, went to
homecoming.
MacArthur. Yeah, it was homecoming.
Really?
Yep, it was homecoming. I remember that because I remember we came afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh
that was
my,
the last time. That was the last time. I think that was 2008.
was it? Wow, that is a long time ago.
Long
Well,
time.
I want you to go ahead and tell the audience how we know each other, and just take us back because you took us from your
Okay,
now. So just take us back to who is Desmond Tice. I'm talking about Desmond Jean, but Desmond Tice.
so let's see. So I it started at North Dade. That's where it started, and I hadn't known Alan yet at the time, but I kept hearing on the like on being around on the park. I kept hearing like, "Oh, I thought you were this other guy," or "I thought you was this guy Alan." So I'm like, "Who is this guy Alan?" Everybody keep thinking that we're related, and most importantly, thought Alan and my younger brother they looked alike. So people would think that they were related. So when we finally met each other, we met each other during track at Scott Lake. And from there, we were just like thick as thieves. Like we grew up together. Like there would be summers, like we just would grow up together. We would go to the movies, and you couldn't tell me and Alan that we weren't like the flyest kids around. You couldn't tell us that at all. So from dressing up and like, okay, planning out what we're wearing, what we're about to wear to the movies, what Lakers jersey are we wearing today, or are we going to pull out a throwback from another team? Like we thought we were it, and we were all over the place. We was just a mess. And Inky sometimes would drop us off to Crown Theater. And we did a lot of track tournaments and all those things. So yeah, so that's how we initially met. And my parents love Alan. They always ask about Alan.
Oh
Always.
my God. Wow. Let me tell you, those were the days. North Day Bulldogs. Let me tell you guys, we used to be on that park from sun up to
And up to sundown.
sundown.
And I didn't even play football. I just did the track in basketball and being on the park because my younger brother played or my
Yeah,
friends played. All my friends played. So I'm
we
like,
had some times, let me tell you.
yeah.
Oh boy. So moving up, you said Scott Lake. Oh my God. See, let me tell you something. That was my stomping ground when I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I started cheering. And you guys start running track over there. And I know even those track was oh, they were wavy too, you know. We had so much fun out there too. So
Track was
take
fun.
us to the Scott Lake days.
We had a lot of fun. So Scott Lake Track, Coach Jonesy, it was probably one of those places you did not want to go because you knew, and especially on Mondays, you knew somebody's throwing up. One of us is throwing up. In track, in track practice, it was very serious because we're all tired. We all just want to leave. But at the end of it, like we partied, like we didn't even get done running for 2 or 3 hours and barely any water breaks because in track, that's how you condition. So track was a good time. We got to travel and see a lot of things as well through track that we probably wouldn't have seen early on. But you go through qualifying matches and all those things, and you get to travel. So that was like a perk of it. And I think it also teaches you discipline as well because when you step out of line in track and you realize you have to go run a 1500, which is like 4 miles. I remember I think I missed a practice or I got in trouble or something. And Coach Jonesy was like, okay, you're going to go have to run a 1500, which was 4 laps. No, 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 no. They called Desmond Tice 1,000 times. I did not touch that track.
Did you go hiding?
Hide. I went to the bathroom. I went hiding. I heard them calling my name and calling my name. I came out. He's like, where were you? I was like, I didn't know they were calling. I wasn't running that. That was a 400-meter runner. That's 1 lap. To do 4 laps, I couldn't. No, I refuse.
Let me tell you something. I didn't know how you guys did that out there in that hot sun like that, but you guys did. And you and Alan both, and Inky, all of you guys are asthmatic, but you guys hung in there with it though. And I guess it worked because Alan don't really deal with it as much anymore. Inky every now and then. But how was yours?
Mine's I haven't dealt with it. I haven't dealt with mine. I think kind of around track. Like yeah, I didn't really deal with it much.
Oh,
How I
good.
would deal with it was like springtime, and that's when like the pollen would come. Like track
Yeah,
pretty much starts in January for us.
yeah.
So that's like the only time I would really deal with it. But other than that, it wasn't. Track was fun. Track was fun. And that's how I know so many people as well. Like I go many places, and all my friends are always like, "You always know somebody." I'm like, it's because my friends play football.
Yeah,
Ran track. We all ran track together. So then running track, you're meeting like different kids from
right.
different states, different cities.
Yeah,
So you just in at that time, like those are people that you meet and you grow with. You see them change. You see the things that they're doing. You see where they're going. Like, and you don't know it. You're like, okay, we're all just running track. But who would have known? Like track would have
right.
went from track till now. Alan Hearns,
Yeah,
wide receiver. So you
yeah,
don't think about those things when you're growing up. You're just living in the moment.
right.
One of your friends do something that's great like that, like you can't help but smile and have a genuine and happy heart for it because you know what it was like. You know that this was nowhere in anyone's mind. Like we're not thinking it. We have dreams and aspirations,
Right,
but to actually see it happen to someone that
right.
it's different.
I'll tell you, it's just it makes my heart smile so big because I never. I mean, they asked the question, "Did you ever see Alan playing?" And I'm just like, I was enjoying the now. I
Yeah.
didn't think ahead. That's something that he probably always dreamed of. But like you said, you're enjoying the now, and to see it now, not even just him being a NFL player. You've been a nurse. You're on a front line. Let me tell you something. That takes a lot to do. Like we talked about in the earlier part of the broadcast, being that during COVID time is I mean you can't but say salute to you and your family, your whole entire listen, y'all. His whole family is nurses, okay? Even the girlfriends, okay, the fiancés, or even
It,
they're nurses, and that's so amazing. But I'm gonna take you back and I'm gonna make you laugh. But hey, Miss Hearns, I love you too. God bless you. Let me take you back because see, let me tell you, Daz them they thought they was little G's, right? They hear this little thing, they think I don't know, but DBG. I'm gonna take y'all back to the G, the DBG thing, right? They used to wear these little scars, and they have, oh no, y'all used to wear them around your head, and they used to really thought they were really cool, right? But see, back then you guys had swag.
Mhm.
That's when the jerseys, the jerseys
Yeah.
and things like that were out, right?
Yep.
And you said Inky used to take y'all over to that Yeah,
Down
30 Lakes, movie theater. But take us back to the DBG days. And
I don't even know how that started
I
or
was going
when.
to ask how that started.
I, okay, I remember in that era of times, there were like a lot of gang activity, and they were using flags. We weren't necessarily like we were never into like gang activity or even just no violence or anything. So we thought it was cool to create our own just based off of us, being able to like mac the women or like Alan. Okay, you're gonna go talk to those girls. I'm gonna go talk to these status. Go talk over there. Like, so that's kind of how we created. So that's how that came about. But I mean, people used to ask us all the time, like, "Oh, is this like gang affiliated?" And we're like, "No, like, this isn't that at all. Like, this is just us amongst our friends and like, or our homegirls that like joined us." So that's where it was, and that's where it started. Yeah, we thought we were cool. I don't know what we were doing.
Let me tell you something. It used to be so cute because that's one of the things that I always adored about you all. It was never ever any gang related
Yeah,
anything or any
no,
violence. Period. It was
never.
just straight love. That's
Yeah,
all
we
that it
never
was.
argue with each other. Like that's how much we just loved being around each other, and we could be around each
Right.
other and absolutely not doing anything.
Yeah.
We would
And
have
I go ahead.
and we would have a blast. And
Yeah.
me and Alan already knew if we had a track meet that day, and we were like, dang, we got to go to the movies tonight. But our hair not braided. So we would take our hair out. We would have one to be running, Brittany will be braiding our hair in the stand. Then once she's done, then the next one to sit down and get the hair braided. And then we're ready to go to the movies that night.
Y'all was the best. I'm telling you. But let me tell you something. Yes, exactly, sis. It was a big brotherhood. It was all love. And everybody inside that group, let me tell you, they were not big debaters. They were not, on no type of foolishness. And I have to tell you this. It was Alan's senior year, and the principal called, and no, Alan first texted and said, "Mom, you got to get me out of this debate class." Because Alan don't like arguing. Forget
Alan,
it.
listen, Alan could be in the room. You'd be like, wait, Alan's still here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm quiet, but Alan is quiet. I'm reserved. Alan is super reserved.
Right. And I remember him saying that. And then the principal called and she said, I don't even know how they put him in this class. And he don't even the principal knew that he do not like arguing or, he's not on that. He just
Not
was
doing
not
that.
on that. So we got him out of that class and that was just so funny. But all of you guys were so so chilled. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things that I love. You guys were about your business. You were focused and you guys knew that, yes, we're out here, we're running track, we're playing ball, whatever it is, but we know that education is number one.
Yeah. You know that.
Heavy on the education.
Definitely. Our parent, but you guys didn't allow us to like not even think that education wasn't important. And it's so funny how like everyone like just automatically like kicked in. So even going to practice, if I'm leaving and let's say Big Al or like you were in there, so it's just like, okay, cool. Alan come with us, we're gonna take her. Or if it was the same, vice versa with me, like cool, you guys would take me and my
Yeah.
parents would come get me. And it was just that those times were amazing. And it's crazy to see how we were so like ready to be adults. And now that I'm adult, I'm like, wait, y'all not paying half of my bills because I ain't asked to be here.
Listen, that is my favorite saying. When my mom go to say things to me about, I did this. I was like, listen, I didn't even have to be here.
I'm like, this adulting life, I'm not too sure about it.
Right. Yes, superstar Shannon. We definitely had a system.
We definitely had this
We had
system.
a great system. When one couldn't, the other did. We always had a great system going, a great support
Yeah.
system. Great
Support system, great trust system. Like no one's parents ever felt uneasy about their
Right.
kids going somewhere. Like, oh, we had an amazing time.
Look what they're saying. Sounds like a documentary in the making, sis. Hey, speak it, sis, because it could definitely go down.
It's
Look, let me
beautiful.
tell you.
It's beautiful to see how we all grew up not knowing where we would be in life. And
Right.
then to see like now where we are. And that's what I always tell people. I'm like, back then I feel like I didn't live in the now. Like I felt like I lived in my head or where I should be or what I should be doing or what my parents wanted. And even that took a change when I went to college because it was like, okay, you guys want me to do this. I want to do that. So it's just like, okay, well now we're butting heads because you guys have a plan set out for me that I don't have for myself.
Gotcha.
And I remember graduating high school and my dad was like, so what are your goals? And I remember saying, I don't have any. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I didn't have any. I didn't plan on going to college. I was just like, send me to California. Let me figure it out. So he's like, so you have no goals, but you want me to send you to California and figure it out on my money. At that time, I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out. I'm telling you, I'll figure it out. But it helped because once I got to FAMU, it actually helped me find myself, because once I got to FAMU, it was like, okay, I don't want to be here, but I'm here. I'm smart, I know that, but do I really want to, like, they wanted me to either go pharmacy or med school route. So I already knew if I went med school, it will be surgical. But then I was like, but do you really want to spend that much time in school? So then I crossed that out. Pharmacy, I started working in the pharmacy, and that's actually when I cut my hair. They told me I had to cut my hair, so I told them I'll give them a call back in 2 weeks. I thought about it, and then I said, okay, cool. I'll go ahead and cut my hair. I started working in the pharmacy. I didn't like it at all. So now I'm just like at school, and I'm like, what's the point of me taking these classes? And I'm the type of person, if I can't see a plan, then I'm all over the place. So that started happening. I started becoming all over the place. Then I stopped going to classes because I was just like not happy. And I remember one day I woke up and I sat on the side of the bed, and I called my mom, and I was just like, this isn't for me. I have to come home and figure it out. It's not working. And she was like, well, you're in the middle of your semester. I was like, actually, I'm not in the middle of my semester. I lied this semester and said I was in school, and I wasn't in school. I just chose not to. And she was like, okay, well, we have to get you home now ASAP. And my mom is, I always call her, like I always tell people, she has a pit bull personality. Like she's not gonna let up. He's gonna be in your face. But I get it. Like she tells us all the time, you didn't go through what I had to go through. So to tell me that you can't, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. You didn't have a kid at a young age, so you didn't have to go to school and have 2 jobs and try to figure it out. You didn't have that. So telling me that you can't, telling me that it's too hard, try harder. And even when we try harder, that still wasn't enough. But I got it because it was like to push us to get where we needed to go, to show us that you can do it. And I'm like, it's not a great concept, but it's a great concept.
Right.
It's like it's gonna fall and fold.
Right.
Then they're gonna fall under that. But I'm like, I appreciate it because it gave me the confidence that I have now that I knew for sure I didn't have back then to do certain things. So I always tell people, like, you have to live in the now and don't let those moments get away from you. And I also want to go back to you saying like you want to travel and those things. I say, do it. I tell my parents all the time, listen, you don't have any more kids. Do not let life like pass you by. It's too many beautiful things to learn, too many beautiful things to see. Like, go and do it now. And like my mom would be so focused on work, business, work, business, work, business. I'm like, listen, if you pass today, if I pass today, I'm not gonna be rich on the other side of life.
Right.
So you have to listen and live in the now. And so many times you do so many great things and you go back to that memory and you're like, I don't really remember like how I felt in that moment. Like, I don't remember, did I have a good time? Was I mad? What was my feeling in that moment? And you don't remember it because you weren't living in the moment at that time.
Come on.
So I tell people all the time, you have to live in that moment because those memories, so many happen to where they all start blending together. Yeah. But you have to have those memories where you can go to and you can remember exactly how you felt in that moment, who you were with in that moment, what was happening in that moment. That's when you're living in the moment. So yeah, I tell people all the time, even like people that's younger than me, I'm like, live in the moment. Take advantage of every opportunity because just because it's here, don't mean that it'll be there tomorrow.
That's right. That's it right there. And let me tell you something. See, you had to be, God set this thing up just the way he wanted to have it, right? Because what was the chances that I get on Snapchat, see you on there, and then offer you to come on the show, invite you on the show, and you're here tonight. And this is something that I've been wanting to do. I wanted to start traveling. Like you say, I don't have any young kids anymore. I have grandkids now. But, they're with their parents, right? So I can basically get up and go at any given time that I want to. So what am I waiting on? So you're talking to me because when you base your life, and this. Yeah, my life was wrapped around my children, and I just when I became an empty nester, I was like, well, what do I do now, God?
No lie, you all. Inky and Alan had to be the most spoiled kids in America. I promise you.
But
And
listen,
Alan, listen. If a shoe was coming out, we already knew. All right. Alan got it. All right, okay. We already knew.
well, let me tell you something. The thing about it is, what people do not know, it was times when we didn't even know what we were going to eat. You didn't even know that. It was things that transpired in our life that you guys knew nothing about. Like it's just we were going through. But by the grace of God, we made it out. And we didn't walk around looking like what we were going through.
Can't.
There's no way. And we knew that we had to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And we leaned on each other. So that's what happens when you have a great support system. There would be times that I would have to go to some of my friends to ask for those shoes that Alan used to have. You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, a closed mouth don't get fed. And most of the times I kept my mouth
Close.
and I don't blame anybody for the things that we had to go through. If I would have opened up my mouth, maybe I could have got the help. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I knew when we were able to give back, it was a no-brainer for us. No-brainer. And that's why we knew we wanted to do something where it relates to the things that we went through. You know what I mean?
And you can't show what you're going through. Like I tell people all the time, like even that story of me, like people would look at me and think like, oh, like his parents are still married, like they did this for him, like he's totally fine, like and it's like, no, I had my struggles with things as well. I just walked around and put a smile on my face and kept going because I've always known that, when things happen, if you can change it, you change it.
Right.
If you can't change it, there's no need in sitting there and worrying about it because it's still not going to change anything. The only thing is going to change is your health and make you sick. That's it.
Whew. Let me tell you something. You all in my kitchen over here.
That's it. And I realized that because once I got done, I did my first degree in exercise science and health promotion. So I was going to be a physician assistant. I shadowed some orthopedic surgeons and everything. And my mom was like, the field is pretty crowded. So just apply to nursing school just in case. So at this point, I'm like, listen, I don't care. Like I'm getting older. I'm seeing my friends in their careers. I'm like, I did a degree. It didn't work out how I thought it was going to work out. What's next? So I applied to nursing school. And at this time, you have to write so many letters. You have to input every single grade from every single class.
Wow.
And that's for every single school. And then every single school come with their own questions that they want you to answer for an interview process. So at this time, I'm breaking out in hives. And I mean, like from my head down to my feet. And I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I'm eating too many public subs. Maybe it's banana peppers. Maybe it's beer. Maybe it's alcohol. I'm cutting everything out and I'm still breaking out in hives. And I remember I tried Benadryl. It worked for a couple of days. After that, it stopped. I used some hydrocortisone cream for a couple of days. It worked. It stopped. And I would know when it would start to come on because it would feel like a million ants is crawling all over my body. And I would knew that I'm about to break out in hives. But it was just one time, like all around my eyes, like swollen everything. And I went to the doctor and they put me on prednisone. And I gained weight like this. So that's why I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, there's nothing they can ever say to put me back on prednisone. Like it makes you hungry, it makes you tired and all kind of things. But the hives went away. And when they went away, I realized it was once I got into nursing school. I was like, oh, so basically I was stressed. That's what that was. And I thought it was maybe the detergent I was using. Nope, I was stressed.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And see, like you said, when you stress like that, you worry about things you can't change, it do takes effect on your body. Or even you internalizing some things if you're not, because people don't understand, like you have to find someone that you can talk to and release that stuff. Because if you like what they say, pressure bust pipes. And if you're internalizing everything and holding everything in, that's no good. One day you're going to explode and it's not going to come out nice. You know, like you said, you bust out in hives, some others, you just never know how it's going to affect the body, right? And here it is, you had to go through a series of things to cut this out and cut that out, and to see that no, this was still there. But it's all worth it. It had to happen.
It was worth it. Had to happen. And I'm glad it happened. I'm glad. I even came home from college and told my parents one time, like, hey, I need y'all to back up a little bit. Stop doing so much for me. Stop catching me before I fall, because if you keep catching me, guess what I'm gonna keep doing? I'm gonna keep having an amazing time, partying and screwing up. So I'm like, if y'all want me to get on board with this thing to go forward in life, I need y'all to back up. I need y'all to let me make my own decisions. I need y'all to let me mess up. But I know how y'all are. Y'all don't want to see it. Y'all don't feel like we have to go through that. But I had to go through that, because had I not gone through that, I would be a wreck.
That's it. I'm telling you, you're giving me a whooping right now. Let me, if Alan is on here, I know he's jumping for joy, because that's one of the things that him and Nikki told me. But it's hard for a mother. Now I don't know how the fathers are, but it's hard for a mother to see her child fall or
Yeah.
fail at something. You don't want that, so you try to do everything you can in your power for that not to happen. But at the end of the day, you spoke up, right? And when you spoke up, and you said it yourself, Alan real quiet. When Alan spoke up and he was like, Ma, you just really have to let
It
us
sucks, y'all, right?
yeah. And, so, and,
Yes.
and I'm looking like, and then they go to bottom lip poking out like, did I do too much? Or, you thought, I thought that I was doing my very best, but sometimes, as men, you guys want to just, get some things on your own,
We do.
to
We do.
hear you have this conversation with your mother, I feel a whole lot
Oh,
better.
I had to. Like my mom always would tell people, she's like, I raised him like he was like a president's child. Like I was so protective over him. And I told my mom, I'm like, listen, I was behind the ball a lot because you wanted to protect me so much from a lot of things. I'm like, so now when you're like, how come you don't know this? Or why? I'm like, well, why do you think? Why do you think I don't know this? Why you don't think I don't know how to call these people and do this? Because every time I would, guess who's sitting on the side of me, or guess who's grabbing the phone? Like, let me talk to them. I'm just like, I had to.
Oh, hey, Desmond, we're gonna move.
And then for me, I was very reserved as well, like very quiet. But
Yeah, yeah.
I grew up, I had to learn, like, you have to speak for yourself. You have to stand up for yourself, and you have to learn those things. And I had to tell my mom too. My mom is just like, she's one of those people that really truly believe whoever you keep around you is who you become. And for the longest, I would tell her, Mom, I don't care about what anybody else is doing. Like ultimately, I have to make the decision to want to join or decide
Right,
not to. I'm like,
right.
so that blame can't go on anyone.
But you know what though? That's the truth though, Desmond.
It's true.
But I can say all of you guys you guys had some strong minds. Let
Oh
me tell
yeah.
you something. If you want to go out and mess up, you're gonna mess up by yourself,
No,
but you were around a group of guys that didn't mess up. So,
exactly.
and that's the thing. But I want you to speak to this mother right here, because this mother too, and Tawana, that's me too. He's talking to me too, darling. So she said, I need to back up and let my son be men.
Yeah,
So
you
if
have to.
you have a word of advice, or just some wisdom to give her, speaking from a son, speak to this mother.
Yeah, I would definitely say you have to back up, and you have to, as men, you have to give us our space to grow, because people always say women, they mature much more than men or faster than men. So I always say, like, if you want us to become men, then you have to step back and let us go through that process of becoming men, because if not, then we're gonna forever be boys. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you know a lot of men of age, but they're still boys, and it's because a lot of times mom didn't get out the way, or mom handicapped by not telling the truth
Yes.
to the kid or to the son or to the boy. So he's still that boy. He never got a chance to become that man because he never had to make those decisions by himself, or he always was able to say, hey, what should I do?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I had to, I've never been in that, but I had to break my brother out of that, because he would ask me everything. Like, okay, I have to go to the gym today. I need to study and I have to do this. Do you think I should eat first, then go to the gym, or go study? And I'm just like, I don't know. You tell me. What do you think you should do? And I had to tell my mom also, stop getting in the way of him. Like, she'll call me and be like, hey, call and figure this out for Darius and whatnot. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna give Darius the number. And I'm like, not, as a matter of fact, I'm not gonna give Darius the number. I'm gonna tell Darius to go look for the number. And if he end up calling the wrong company, then he would know, okay, wait, that's not it. So let me go back and do some research, and then let me call and let me talk to these people. So whenever I'm in another situation, I know how to carry myself. I know how to conduct myself. And I told him, like, it's just not just over the phone, that carries with you through life, because a lot of people, if you have someone who's constantly rewarded for bad behavior, nasty attitude in life, when they get older, they're not going to know that this is a nasty attitude because everyone for so long has been turning the cheek or saying like, no, it's okay when it's not okay.
Right.
So
Right.
now this person that's now hearing this, to them is brand new news. They
Yeah.
think they've been normal or just doing what people do, but the whole time is no. You wonder why you haven't gotten these jobs or why you haven't moved in this position. It's because you have a nasty attitude or you're just a nasty,
Ooh.
and nobody has ever told you that this is what it is. So I always say, as men, you have to step back. And once my mom stepped back, then that's when I had to learn to come forward and speak, because now she's no longer asking like, oh, well, how do you feel? Or how is this? Or what's going on with that? So now you're not asking. So now I'm like, okay, now I got to tell you. So what's happening? Why you not asking me no more?
Well, that's what you asked. You asked for that, right?
Yeah. So eventually, so, like, so once I got to that point of like standing up for myself and asking those things, I'm like, okay, cool. Okay, now you can come.
Miss Hers, okay. But the thing about it is that's something, she thought about you better say it, son. One of the things I can say is, how I was about my children, right?
Yes.
But I can say, like, sis Melissa, I'm sorry, sis Money Rose said, she said that we have to trust that they learn from us, that you guys learn from us. We have to learn to leave them with the training and lessons that we taught, right? So that is true. Once we could get that embedded into our heads and say, okay, well, we've done the best that we knew how, we showed them what, the ropes or whatever. However, it's still hard to let your child
Oh,
fall.
you all would never let go 100%.
Right. But you learn to back up. And you see what you just said? You said that now you go to her and you tell her, like, in your head, like, why are you not asking them questions no more?
Yeah.
That's what you have to do. And I've learned to do that. I love you listen, you
Oh, I know.
but
You and
I
my mom are just alike when it comes to that. Just
and,
alike.
and then it falls back to not to just rewarding them for bad behavior. It's like when you're giving your kids everything. I watched this I think it was a snap, one of them. The little boy said, he said that he wore a pair of feelers, right? And when he wore a pair of feelers, the kids picked at him. And he said, I wore them because I just like the colors,
Uh-huh.
right? He said, but I had to tell him it's not about the shoes or the clothes you wear, it's about the knowledge. Because guess what? You're gonna grow out of those shoes, and you need the knowledge to carry. Oh, listen, you need the knowledge to carry you,
You do.
right? And if you're giving, he said, I hope the parents hearing me. He said, because not verbatim, but basically what he was saying is don't give your kids everything, because when they grow up and the minute they can't get them things, they're gonna think they're not how did he say it? Oh my gosh, what word did he use? Basically, he was gonna say it's gonna cause problems within themselves. They're gonna not think that they're enough, or they may try to do different things to get them.
Yeah, and I spoke to this one lady that I work with. She was like, she wanted me to talk to her kids and whatnot because they have been going through like some troubles and whatnot. She's like, this is just isn't them. But it was a similar story. Her ex-husband like had all this money, and then once he left, like they pretty much like had nothing. So now the kids that were once used to getting everything that they could, they were now going to the streets and trying to look for this or look for that and get this out of people or get that out of people. So I had to, like, I just spoke down with them and told them, like, life change
Yeah.
and things happen, and things happen. They don't happen when you think they should happen. They don't happen.
Right.
They happen when they're supposed to happen.
Mhm.
And you just have to take those in. You have to learn the lesson from that. And when you learn the lesson from that, you carry on and you keep that lesson. You don't forget that lesson because now you're out of it. You
Right.
keep that lesson. I'm like, and your mom is doing pretty good. Like, she's doing a pretty good job for you two.
Wow.
Although she has to work a lot more now, she don't mind it because it's a sacrifice to make sure you all are okay. But when you're like now going out into the streets and you're now getting into trouble, or like you're now meeting this type of man because you're looking to fulfill those things that was once given to you, now you're adding more stress onto her. And I'm like, and honestly, you add more stress onto her, then she's going out of you guys' life. That's
Woo.
it.
You know what? And this, I'm glad that you went and talked to the kids, right? Because, and I love throwing these scenarios because when God showed me things, I like to bring it here to, it had to happen. And it's not just that He speak these things to me. People do not understand God speaks through people. he speak through situations and different things like that. And I watched this kid who literally blamed his mother. Now she was a single mother, and she did everything in her power to give her kids everything, right? But the older kid had to babysit the little kid, his little brother,
Mm-hmm.
and he blamed his mother because guess what was happening to him? He was getting picked on for always having nice things. So it's not always the ones that pick on you for having not having.
Oh yeah,
You get picked on for having nice things. You're the spoiled brat or whatever it may be.
I
So
went to that.
wow, you see? So he basically blamed his mother and said that she was the cause of that happening to him when she thought that she was doing her best for him.
Yep.
So it kind of like catch 22 kind of, turned on her a little bit. And he was like, I needed you as a mother, but you just gave us wow! But you just gave us everything.
That's a big thing too. That's
You
a
know,
big thing.
what?
Because I even had to tell my mom sometimes when her and my sister or her and I would like butt heads about something. The first thing she would do is want to go into like discipline mode. And I had to tell her, like, this is not the time to be G.I. Jane. This is the time to just be mom and listen. That's it. I understand your knowledge or your experience may be way more far beyond mine, but you have to listen. And I just told her that too, because I went home and I turned and was leaving Sunday. She was like, it's so fast. We didn't even get a chance to spend time. And I'm like, I know, but I'm like, I told y'all this is what happens when I'm speaking. Y'all are hearing me, but y'all aren't listening to me because I told you that I'm leaving Sunday.
Oh, that's good. Y'all
But
are hearing me. Let me repeat that really quick. Y'all are hearing me, but you're not listening to. Okay.
I had to tell her that. And I'm like, and another thing that I need y'all to change is that. And I'm like, and she was like, well, are you going to change your flight? And usually I would change my flight because I feel bad. And of course I want to spend time with my mom and my dad. But I was like, no, this is a lesson that y'all need to learn. And the lesson that I want y'all to learn is that letting work consume all of y'all time, time just goes by. I said, I've been here for a whole week. I've seen my sisters, my brothers, my nephews. I've taken him to the movies. I've made it to graduations. I said, I did all this in the whole week. Got things I've done that I needed to get done. And now that you guys are finally like, y'all like, okay, what are we going to do? And time is up.
Wow.
So I'm like, you see how that plays into part? Like time can be gone in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And we're letting
make it work.
No.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying you have to find time to when you have to love. I mean, that QT is very, very important because I think too a lot of people think that their people is going to be here forever. And Desmond, you can see working in the field that you're working in. You're a nurse. Yeah. You see people dying every day. Hearing of it and just going to the grocery store, going into a graduation like you just spoke about, people are getting killed. I mean, it's just so much going on. That's why you have to love now, enjoy each other now. But what you said is so profound. You're hearing me, but you're not listening, right? You're see, that's what the little boy was saying. He was like, I needed my mom. So she was hearing him, but she wasn't listening. You see, that is so good. I'm glad I had you here tonight. You gotta come back because we got to finish this. You have them riled up on here, and we're past 7:00, and I want to go ahead and shout out the audience, Desmond, because we can't do this without each and every one of them. They're amazing, all of them. They come on here, and they've been very, very engaging in what you're saying. So again, it had to happen. I had to bring you here at this time. This is so awesome that you accepted the invitation. You booked within. He said, "Let me listen." When he said, "Let me get back," he booked immediately, y'all. And he did what he had to do. He was at work, and I was emailing him the things we need. He got it done.
I was on a plane, even during Paris. I was on a plane where I was talking to you, and I'm like, okay, so it's like, as soon as I get back, and as soon as I land over there, then I'll go ahead and start getting everything ready. Yeah, I was on a plane.
I'm so honored.
I'm like, as soon as you asked me, I'm like, there's no way that I couldn't. I also thank your audience as well. I thank you all for interacting. Thank you so much.
So what I'm going to do, Desmond, before I'm going to give you some words to say to them at the end, but I'm going to put their comments up, and however God leads you, let it roll. So here we go.
All right, so I just want to say thank you all again. Thank you all for having me. Thank Miss Erica for having me as well. Like I told her earlier, I'm pretty reserved guy, shy guy. I kind of don't do the camera thing, but when she asked me, I couldn't. So I want to thank you all again. Be very blessed. Like, again, if you have kids, mothers with your sons or your daughters, just hear them out, listen to them. You might not agree with their opinion of things, but life changes, so we all have to adapt. So as we adapt, we just have to understand. And another thing that I want to leave with you all that I always tell people, even parents, kids, it doesn't matter. You can't really change people, or you can't determine their path. You just have to meet them where they are, and they may not be in a great place, but you have to meet them where they are to get them out of that place. And I think that's what I'll leave here mostly. You have to meet people where they are.
That's good right there. I love saying that. I love you hear what I love saying that, but honestly, I could speak about me. Do I love doing that?
Yeah.
And meaning I love doing it with other people, but when it comes to my children, you know?
Want to meet them where
So
they
again, you had to be on here tonight. You
are. I'm
had,
glad
and it was nobody but God, and it had to happen,
it
you know.
has.
And when you meet people where they are, you- and I
That
love to
stop
say
a lot
it's
of heartbreak. That stop a lot of confusion,
yes,
because a lot of times we think that we know what somebody is thinking or how they're feeling,
right,
because that's what we want for them,
right,
instead of
right.
us meeting them.
And then
Yeah,
you know what, too, Desmond, you have to have hard conversations.
you have to.
You have to have
As
the
they are,
hard conversations.
you have to. As uncomfortable as they are, you have to.
Ooh, and because a lot of times it's not what you're thinking,
Mhm.
and a lot of stuff could be ironed out that way, So if it's something that you're thinking, let's talk about it.
Yep.
Do not let the outside people get into your ears to cause problems in your family.
Oh,
You,
you can't. You
and I don't care who they are. You just have to make sure that, have that hard conversation with them.
yes.
And we have to
Yes.
keep our nose out of other people's business.
Oh,
You
100%.
said,
Thank you
so
for that mindset.
if you had a kid that was under the sound of your voice, please speak to him or her and give them some words of encouragement.
So all I would say is, you might not feel as confident right now, and you won't feel confident. I mean, day to day, I don't wake up every morning and feel confident, but I believe in myself. I believe that I can. I think that's what you all have to do. You just have to keep believing in yourself. You may not understand it. You may not understand what's happening, where you're going. The pieces to the puzzle don't make sense. It don't have to make sense. It's just one piece at a time. It's almost like the stars in the sky. Like, you see a star here, you see a star there, you see a star here. You never know what's happening, but then eventually you'll understand that they all connect to make, one big universe. And that's how you have to look at life. You have to take everything, and you have to take each moment and start connecting them. And as time go by, you'll remember, oh, like, this lesson was for that happened years ago. But yeah, I would say keep going, don't stop.
Let me tell you something. You dropped some jewels here on tonight, and not just speaking to the mothers, fathers, even aunts that may be raising their nieces or nephews, grandmothers, whoever it may be. You dropped some great jewels on tonight, and I pray that it touched some people, because I know that it definitely touched me. And you made a lot of things plainer for me. You guys are in your 30s now. You know, uh, and I know, and I can say that I raised some mighty men of valor,
Yeah.
because let me tell you something. There are times that you guys could have went out there and got in trouble, but you didn't. There were times when you could have got off track, but you didn't. God knew the plans that He had for you back then. And
Yes.
then now it makes sense, right? You guys wanted to grow up so fast back then, but now you see, okay, this adulting thing is serious.
It's serious. It's very serious.
I gotta pay bills.
Right.
I'm a father now, so
Time to come out. I'm looking at my account. I'm like, where is it? What is this coming out of my money now? You think you're
I'm
doing
telling
that? You never have it figured out. You
I'm
never have
telling
it figured
you, you don't. And that's one of the things I can say. All of you, you know, that firefighter, going to school for firefighter.
out. Yes.
Uh, Ike, he's a financial advisor. Alan, a NFL player. You a nurse. Inky, a truck driver, have his own business, a truck driver. You know, it's just so
Right.
many things. Different. Oh, let me tell you something. And what my sis said here about the documentary, I can see it coming together because all of you guys are doing some amazing things. Now, you, Inky, and Thad are the
Uh-huh.
only ones that don't have kids. Ike
Yeah.
has all girls, believe it or not. All
I
girls.
know. I know. I said, well, there it goes.
Oh my God. And then of course Ella had the two boys. But you
I
know,
have so me, my nephew, like my nephew think he's my kid. So my sister got sick at 2 weeks of having him. I'd had him. So when she got better and then she was studying for her board, she would drop him off to me every morning. And I'm
wow.
like, okay, I'm making bottles, I'm feeding, like we outside. So my name was the first name that he knew, like not mom, not dad, like it was mine. He's so attached to me. Like if I say something, he's 6 now, but if I say something, I have to stand on it. I have to do it. But
Yeah.
even like a lot of my friends and family be like, you spoil him too much. And I'm like, but it's not me just spoiling him. Like when we go to the arcade
Yeah.
and he don't get it and he wants to give up, I constantly make him do it and do it and do it. So when he finally get it and he's excited that he's got it, he understands if I keep trying, I'll eventually get it.
See, look at there. Your mom and what your mom did to you back. Let me tell you, look at God. That,
Yeah.
listen, your mom says, like, listen, you I don't want to hear about you can't. So
Right.
you're doing it now. You're instilling wow, you're instilling with your mom and still to you and you're no, that's awesome.
Because a lot of times it goes, and I always say this, it goes often where everyone is like, we have to protect our little girls, we have to protect our women. But what people don't realize is that with all that protecting of the little girls and the women, we're forgetting about the boys, and we can't forget about the
That's
boys.
right.
Because honestly, as guys, we needed them. Not that we needed the most, but we needed the most more than
Yeah.
girls. Girls can figure it out. Girls will find their way eventually. They
Hmm.
still need love too. But I'm
Right.
like, we can't forget, like, we can't forget about the boys. We got to bring them along too.
See, and I was watching Tamara Holiday and a young man on there. He said, I mean, not Tamara Hall, one of the talk shows, and he said that this young man, I can't remember his name, but he said that like we have the boys. Do not forget about the boys because you know what I found too. There's a situation happened to me when I was 10, and when that situation happened to me, I can kind of tell anytime it has happened to anybody else, right?
Hmm.
And I've come across so many men that this has happened to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
And the
said,
thing about it is
don't say nothing. Don't cry. Keep like, so that's all we know. So we
that
don't say nothing. We don't express ourselves. We're not allowed to. We don't think we are. And then now in these days and times when we do, now it's like, y'all too set, y'all too sassy, y'all too zesty. And it's just like, well, listen, this is where it's come to. Because if not,
you
how
have to let it out.
yeah.
You have to let it out. And you know, even too, boys or girls, when you get a beating, what your mom or your dad is telling you, you
All
better
you
not
do is tell us
cry.
we love you. You better not cry. Yeah.
So you're instilling fear in me. You're hurting me, but you're telling me I better not cry, but you're hurting me.
Yeah.
You
Which
know?
which is
So
the
think
opposite.
about the kids whose mouths are closed.
Yeah.
You know, I had a young man on my show not too long ago. He had a situation similar that happened to me. And he said that when they got to the hospital, basically, he spoke up. Think about all the people that don't.
Oh,
So his it happened to him and his little brother, and they could have left them in that home, but by him speaking up, got him out of that home.
yeah.
You
And we have
see?
to be trained to notice that when they come in. Like I worked in Iowa, and trafficking in Iowa is huge. From Chicago to Iowa, huge. So we had to train that when you have underage kids come in and you're asking them questions, and the adult is constantly answering the questions, or something just feel like someone's trying to control the narrative, you have to ask them to step out. When you ask them to step out, you ask those questions to that kid. And even though that kid might lie, then
Right.
you still get services to come in and evaluate the situation. Sorry. Yeah, but
Wow.
I've seen some situations where, and sometimes you get them to safety, and that's all they know is mistreatment. So they don't want the help, and they go right back.
Oh my God. We have a young lady on here. I don't know if Miss Renee, Lady Renee, is still on. She deals with women that have been trafficked.
Hmm.
Um, I just thank God that I was let go you know. However, if some women or men never make it back. And
Yep.
like you say, they're so used to mistreatment. So in their head, that's love.
Normal.
That's how you show me you love me.
Hmm.
And again, you say normal. So they go back to it and it's hard to break them away from it. So yeah, I definitely want to bring you back here to, dive into that a little bit because I
Sure.
thought when I was in Jacksonville, they were saying like that was the number 2 spot. Now I'm coming to Atlanta. I hear it's big here too. So it's just all over.
Oh, it's a $1 billion company.
Holy,
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
we have to be so careful out here, people.
Yeah, it's a company. It's not even like some I might do this. This person might. No, it's a company.
Oh, that is scary. Now that's scary. And that's scary.
It's a big
You're
money.
thinking about, you're probably taking flights and sitting next to these people.
Oh yeah, these people get young women from other countries. I mean, you see it. Look at Jeffrey Epstein. You see it on a day-to-day basis. But to America, it's like, oh no, these are celebrities. These are high-profile people. They have money and they have power, and this is who you should respect. And no, they are the ones.
Oh, let me tell you this. I have chill bumps talking about that because you don't know what that's like for that to go. You're being taken away from something and something is happening to you and you have absolutely no control. Like it feel like your life just leaves your body. Like it's uh, I don't even want to talk about it because you know how sometimes when you think that you're over some things and then you could kind of talk about it and then it still, it's still kind of I don't think it would ever not bother me, but I can deal with it a lot more better. I understand now. And I had someone to ask me, how do you say that it had to happen? There's a birth me for my purpose. Look, I can identify when it happened to somebody else. So things happen to us for us to share with someone else.
Yes,
We had to look, you had to go through your mom telling you
had
better
to.
not, but you can't. And now you're instilling into your nephew. So it's a lot of things in life that the it's that transpire, but they're happening and for a reason. And God don't, everybody want to put not everybody. A lot of people like to put the blame on God. Like, why do He allow bad things to happen and so forth? First of all, read your Bible.
Definitely.
Read your Bible because if you read your Bible and you study your Bible, you will see all the people that He used in there. There was some trifling people in the Bible, but God still used them. You understand? There is something. What if we just stopped? What if we've been like Job? Job lost everything, his children, his money, his life, everything, right? But God blessed him. Not to say that you could ever replace a kid that you've lost. Not saying that. Please don't take that. But He blessed him. I'm talking about his livestock and things like that. He blessed him double.
Of
You
what he had.
understand? He gave it back because guess what? He had to, it was a test that he was going through. So it had to happen. So,
It had
and
to happen.
Job's wife said, curse God. She's told curse God, but Job knew better. Job kept his eyes on the prize and not the people. See, it's the outside noise that get into our ears. It's the
Listen,
outside noise that get into our ears to make us do some things, right? But you guys had your own mind.
but I say that too. When kids grow up, as kids, we have all this imagination. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. I can be an astronaut. I can be whatever. But as you travel through the world, and so many people tell you, "Oh no, you can't," or "What are you talking about?" You start to doubt all those amazing ideas that you thought you could be, or you thought you could do. So by the
Hmm.
time you become an adult, that confidence is like, and
Down,
then by
yeah.
the time you transition into another era, now you have to figure it all out again.
Hmm.
You just gotta
Even
really.
if the parent is telling the child, "Oh, you're going to be just like your daddy," or "You're going to be just like your mom," or "You're going to be just like Johnny," or "Are you going to be just like Susie?" Excuse me, I'm sorry, but it's just the things we have to be careful what we utter out our mouths because let me tell you something, kids. I don't. My grandson is 2 years old.
And that
He
big,
pays attention. He picks up on a lot. Chase is very very smart. You hear me?
yeah,
You know how Alan used to be, how he observed? You'll
yeah,
never know that he's watching, but he observes so
everything,
much.
the whole room,
That's his son, Chase.
yeah.
That's his son. Now his personality is a lot more. He got Inky's personality, but he has some. He has a whole lot of Alan too, where he's smart and he's very very observant. So kids, they know things, they watch things, and you try to
Something.
hide so much from them. Like that, I didn't even know that they knew half of the things that we were going through, and I used to think that I was hiding it from them, you know. But to hear when we did an interview one time and Alan spoke about it, I'm like, how did you know that? Then I heard Inky speak about it on his. How did you? I thought I kept it from y'all, you know. But kids pay
We pay
attention.
attention. We pay attention for
They're
sure.
very impressionable too.
Mm-hmm.
They're very impressionable. So if you're saying these things to kids, you tell me I can't as an adult, I'm going to show you that I can.
Yeah, but as a kid, you start to think, oh, but maybe I can't. And now your confidence is ruined. You thought you could be the president of the United States, and now you don't want to do that no more
That's right.
because someone has put some kind of doubt into you.
That's right. That's right. And then I'm going to take it back even with you. You said that your parents had an idea, basically what they wanted you to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we had a show on the NFL Mom show saying that sometimes parents force the kids to do things that they want to live through their kids. Not saying your parents, but basically they're forcing the kids to do something that the kid probably really don't want to do. And if the kid fail at it, who they gonna resent?
The parent. Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to tell my mom that too. I'm like, in the Chinese culture, like, I'm like, we need to adapt this because when they get a failing grade, it's not that they come down on them and they punish them. They figure out what was the problem. They
Yep.
find a solution and then they tell them you can do it and you go back and you do it again, no matter how many times you fail. And like we don't really do that. We come down on each other or like, oh, you got an F or you got a D or you're dumb or you're stupid and it's not that.
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I
What
just said, like, look, C's not coming in here. So they knew what they had to do, basically. But I never said to my kid, like, you're dumb. No, 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 no.
you have some people, parents that tell them that. Like my
Oh,
parents never did that, or like
yeah.
but in those moments, if it's just like, you have to talk about it. This is a
Yeah.
time period where it's not a time to come down on kids because confidence is at an all-time low. Morals at an all-time low. Values are at an all-time low. So if you don't believe in your kid who don't believe in themselves, then anybody can just sweep in and change their mind. And now they're a totally different person.
Uh-huh. And then you're wondering why they're going to lean on these other people and they're not leaning on you. You
Yeah.
know, that is so. Listen, you have really dropped some jewels here tonight. This was so so good. Let me tell you something. I would just go by so quick, guys. Did you were working today?
No, I wasn't working today. I'm on vacation, so I wasn't working today.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
I'm
say.
actually in LA right now. I wasn't working.
Oh man, listen. You're gonna be my first place. I'm going. No, not my first place. I'm gonna travel to, but I'm coming to you, and we're gonna hang out. We're gonna have a good time. God's willing. But let me tell you, I want you to know I'm proud of you. I
Thank
am so proud of you. And guys, if you missed the first part where I played his video, you have to go back and watch his swag. So, Des, if anyone wants to see that swag that you have going on, can you tell them your social media outlets for me, please?
Yeah, mainly Instagram. You can follow me, Desmond, Desmond, Eugene, Eugene. So that's Desmond Eugene. On Instagram. I'm not really on Facebook or anything else, so mainly Instagram.
I'm telling you something. He got this green jacket with the little yellow in it. Whew. Let me tell y'all, he killing the thing, y'all. And I
Thank
asked him, really, have you missed your caller? Because maybe I think you're supposed to be what they
you.
call those
Like
people.
a stylist.
What they call them with a stylist.
Stylist. I thought about it. Like I always said, if my friends like wanted me to style them, I'll style them. But to do it as a job, I didn't because it's a hobby. So and I like it.
Oh,
So I'm like, to do it as a job, then I don't want to like stop liking it. But I'm like always, if I had friends that like hey, like I want you to do this or like work with me on this collaboration with this, like I'm always open. And I feel like I don't utilize that enough. And I also thought like us starting up podcasting, but I'm also like I'm not really the camera person, like to sit there but I know I could do it. I know I would be interested in it, and I know. So I'm like,
see,
I'll start tapping into those things. So it started here.
here.
It started
That's
here.
why you're here. Because you said that you don't really like being in front of the camera, but you have that. You have that what people need. Like you have the personality. You speak very well. You drop so many great jewels. So many people can learn from you.
Yeah.
And see, the enemy likes to put fear. Well, maybe I don't. I can't, or you already know what your mom told you. Don't say that. Can't
Yeah.
should be in your That's what I used to tell my kids. Can't should not be in your vocabulary. you know. But I think that you would do very well if you need any insights on how to do it. I'm here. I've been doing it now, I think a little over 2 years, and I'm still getting it together. Oh yeah, that green ain't. See, somebody looked already. That green. Let me see if I can find this. If I can show them. Wait a minute, y'all, because this picture is bad. Do you hear me? And when I found the pictures, I just was like, okay, check them out, y'all. What? Look at the shoes. Hold on. I got another one for y'all too. Now this one here took me out. Tell me what this here.
Okay, so we were at the Palace of Versailles. So it's like this it's like this museum in Paris, and in there they have like real gold doors. It was almost like a kingdom, a palace. In each room that you walk into, you see all the art that was created during those times. You see like the the statues that's created of these people and like of these Greek gods that we've known through like American history and all those things that we've learned through. And I found that company with the rings. I was online one day on Instagram and it popped up, and I was like, oh, I need to order these before Paris. And I was in LA and I was sitting in the car with one of my friends, and I just so happened to look up, and the store was like right in front of my face. So I'm like, oh, I have to go in there and get these now. And I just figured, I was just like, you know what? Let me just play with it and see what it turns out to be. But growing up, I've always been like that, even with the chains on my
Yeah.
pants or the gloves. Like I've always been that way.
What those the spikes? Because I'm telling you, you killed it. But Tawana says, I need the rings. Look at there. Let me tell you something. We don't know that what the things that we mentioned, these phones, they have their own mind. Next thing you know, you're going to be seeing something pop up. Yeah, you're going to be seeing it.
Vitally, Vitaly. So if it pops up, you'll see it. Or you could just go on Instagram and at Vitaly.
Man, let me tell you something. You did your thing with that one. And I'm going to tell you another one that I liked. This one here. Like, come on with it.
That was in
let me tell you, that's confidence all over itself. Listen,
Dominican
you just I mean, even the pose, like, yeah. hold on. I have one more for y'all. Because I'm telling you. And this here, you put this together very well.
Oh yeah, that one. I love that one. I was like, you know what? I'm traveling, so let me just incorporate something into that.
Let me tell you something. I'm coming for you. You're gonna have to tell your godmom. Let me tell you.
You know, you can always send me a text or son, what do you think about this? Or like, you know, if I'm in Atlanta and we're together and we hit some shops or something.
Yes. Because let me tell you, yeah. I'm telling y'all want to go see his page because let me tell you something.
Some people be like, wait, are you really a nurse? Because you don't have nothing with nursing on you. It's just say nurse. And I'm like, yeah. They're like, but you always traveling, you always party. I'm like, listen, life don't stop. I have those days off. I'm gone.
That's right. That's right. But you know what's so funny? I was looking for pictures on your social media of your nursing. If you wouldn't have sent me that video, I wouldn't have been able to incorporate it in here on your promotional video. But yes, guys, he is a nurse. He is a registered nurse, and he's in the critical care unit, guys. So if you can, please do keep him in prayer because he's on the front line. He's saving lives, guys. Even though his fashion is passion. Oh, when you go to his social media page, you will definitely see what I'm talking about. But son, whenever you're ready to come back, please do come back and grace us with your presence again and drop more. Whenever it's up to you, you have the link. Whenever you have time to come back, please do come back before us. This Thursday, I'm going to be doing a Father's Day special, guys, and I have some very special men that's going to be on because we always honoring the mothers, right?
Yeah,
because we rock. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna we're gonna love on the fathers, and I'm so happy to have Alan on here. His son will be 1 year old Wednesday, guys, on the 14th already.
Alan since 2008, and Alan are like this.
Yeah, there's 2000. No, we have to do something about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen Alan since 2008.
Really?
Yes, it's been that long.
I've
seen that. I've seen Ike. Alan is the only one I have yet to see.
See, you were supposed to be traveling to some of those games with me because I used to be traveling by myself.
What?
But yeah, I used to be traveling by myself.
You should have told me. I love to travel, and I figured that's why I became a travel nurse. I'm like, I might as well be able to travel and get paid, and have the freedom of not being attached to a hospital. Where if I'm done with my contract, I can be done. I can be off for 2 months, 3 months. I make my own schedule, so I'll take a contract for 3 months. I can take off 3 months. I can pick up another contract 3 months. So I like it like that.
Awesome. I went to London by myself.
What?
I traveled to London by myself, and some of the other mothers was over there, but I decided to go 2 days before, right?
Well,
so of course, when I get there, the flights was very expensive, first of all. But when I get there, I was very scared because normally I'll stay at the hotel where the players stay, but since I decided to go so late, I couldn't get there, so I was a ways from them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like really nervous, but hey, I knew I really wanted to have a good time. So he tried checking on me, but it was so much going on over there in London that the Jack, because that's the Jack's hometown, right? So they were having so many things going on. But what he did, he hired this photographer. So this photographer took me all over London. He was just taking pictures of me all on the subway. I thought I was a superstar. You hear me? I had me a good time. But the one thing that scared the crap out of me is their driving.
Oh yeah. And then especially since it's on the opposite side.
And fast. Mercedes are fast.
Yeah.
And that's what they drive over there is Ubers or taxis or whatever.
And you have to deal with the scooter people, the bike people, the pedestrians, the regular people driving. Yeah.
That scared me. And then there was one way where you cross. I mean, the street would just cross just like this. All of us, son. Yeah. I was like, please, Jesus, just let me get there. Just let me get there. Yep. But I had an amazing time, Des, when I told you Alan scored the winning touchdown, and I was right there. And they call him Mr. London over there. And I love that. Beautiful. It was everything. The food was disgusting, but I'm telling you, it was a time. Yeah. Like you said, if you get a chance to travel, do it.
Do it.
Do it. Do it. Yeah, but I used to go to most of the games by myself.
Well, I didn't know that. I definitely would have been there. I definitely would have been leaving with my suitcase, rolling in.
Right. I'll tell you, it was a time, but we'll get a chance to travel. Hopefully you can come here, I come there, whatever it may be. We definitely have to set it up where you guys can see each other. Because listen, friendship like that, y'all should be doing reunions or something.
I know. Like she said, and I see Rochelle all the time. I'm like, me and Rochelle always chatted up.
Oh, Rochelle is, she's still
killing it.
Yeah. I love her. She was on here too, and she was doing the travel nurse too. So I'm telling you, I cannot say shouts out to the nurses who still out there on the front line. Even though the pandemic has kind of like slowed down, but guys, do please lift him up in prayer because he's really putting his life on the line. But I tell you what, he's enjoying himself. Fashion is his passion, but saving lives is his purpose. And guys, he will be back before us. I do believe him when he said that he will be back. Shannon, and we did. Yes, we did. They love you. I'm telling you. This here tonight show, look, we're 35 minutes over and they're still hanging with us. So they're really enjoying your content. And I thank you. I truly, truly thank you. And again, I'm so proud of you. Keep going. Tell your parents I said hello. Tell your little brother. His name was, we called him Tice, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Tice's last name, or Whopper at the time.
What was it?
Whopper.
No, okay, yes, I'm Tice. Okay, but tell them I said hello. And again, I can't wait for you to come back. And don't be a stranger. You have my number. Anytime, call and get your girl right. I'm gonna call you and say, you know what? Maybe you need to style me for wherever. Listen, because I'm telling God, get ready to plant my feet in some places that my name is being mentioned in rooms that I haven't even went in yet. And I'm confident to say it. I'm bold enough to say it because the things that I've went through, it's time for me to walk in the overflow right now. I'm telling you, it's coming. And Shannon Jaguars Diva, she's from Jacksonville. Let me tell you something.
Nice to meet you.
She is our superstar. She's on here. Another one, they always come. I'm telling you, they're so, I can't say enough. I'm just forever grateful for them, right? And she said the watch party days. I used to put on some watch parties, son. When I couldn't make it to the games, because see, Eagles, they wouldn't let me go to the Eagles Stadium. Eagles Stadium is, no, I couldn't go there by myself. But at the watch parties, we had an amazing time. We was just like we were at the game. Like you said, Yeah, we had so much fun. I miss it, but I gained so many, great relationships
So
and
many great
so many
relationships,
different people.
experiences.
One of my sisters, she's no longer here, but let me tell you, she had a good time as we all did. We really did. So I'm going to wait for you to come on again. Last but
Okay.
not least, I know you gave some words of encouragement, but I want to go back one more time because maybe some wasn't on yet. If it's something that you could leave with our audience on today, what will it be?
Again, to keep going, to just always believe in yourself, no matter how many no's you get. I know it sounds cliche, but you just have to keep going. Don't stop. Because I look back on things, I'm like, well, if I would have kept going, or I would have tried a little bit harder instead of giving up, I would have actually did what I needed to do. But yeah, and also speak up for yourself. Stand on what you believe in. Uh,
Amen.
don't let anyone change your opinion on something that you strongly believe in. Keep it. Go with it. Even if it's wrong, you'll learn from it. But
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
just keep going. You stand on what you believe in.
Amen. And out of every bad situation, something good definitely comes out of it. You just have to learn how to focus on the good and not the bad. And you
Yeah,
said something earlier too that was very profound. You said and I like to say it too, when you find out a problem, work on a solution. Don't stay stuck on the problem
yeah.
because you can't make it anywhere if you're just so focused on the problem.
Can't change it.
So
You block out
there.
everything else.
Exactly. Exactly, exactly. So what we like to do here is we like to send out some virtual love. So we send out some virtual hugs. Oh my
Hug you
gosh.
all.
And some virtual love. Because guys, we love you here at It Had to
Thank
Happen.
you all for having me.
You're most welcome. And if you can, guys, please do meet me back here tomorrow at 5:30 for our prayer broadcast. Tomorrow at 5:30, it is going to be amazing. God is definitely doing his thing, and it had to happen. The girls talk with Dr. B. And then on Thursday, we will have our Father's Day specials. I have some very special young men that will be in the room.
I'll
And we
be
just
tuning
want
in.
to thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And we just want to love on them. And if you would like to book with your girl, you could go to my website at www.ericawilsonih2h.com. I love to have you. We'll love to hear your story, whatever it is that you may have going on. We'll like to share it here at It Had to Happen because it had to
That's
happen
it.
to you for you to share with someone else. Tawana is showing love back. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Tawana.
Tawana. God bless each and every one of you guys. Please do be safe. Send up a prayer for my son Des on
Thank you.
tonight and always because he's putting his life on the line. God
Thank
bless
you.
each and every one of you. Until next time.
Have a
Bye
good
bye,
one.
guys.
Erica's empowering empire. 88 blessings soar movement. It had to happen in a beauty so rare. We'd love for you to join us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. It had to happen with Erica Wilson. Following our social media.